Hi students, welcome to the class. I'm Pooja Chatwani. I'm here to do mock test series paper discussion with all of you all for CA Foundation. You can easily find the question paper and the answer paper both on the ICAI Institute. Okay, so students, all you can do is log into Unacademy, and if you like my lecture, you can watch my next special class for free. You can raise your hands in the live lecture. You can have a voice chat discussion with me. You can ask doubts to me. You can test your knowledge through live quizzes and poll. Everything is possible through Unacademy platform. Unacademy Ask It Out at any time from anywhere is one of the most finest features which can help you ask unlimited doubts and can help you solve it at any point of time. And it is high quality in English as well as in Hindi. CA Foundation notes can be easily found on the go. So when I say on the go, you can just revise it while you're traveling or while you are at your native place. You don't really need actual books. All you have is your cell phone. You can get the plus subscription for CA Foundation for as low as 1,000 per month, and for 6 months 2,000. And you can pick a plan and you can get CA Foundation and CA Intermediate combo for as low as 1,333 per month. You can even get 10% off if you use the code YASHASLIVE. So today is a CA Intermediate Mega Combat where there are 40 questions and 60 minutes. You can earn a scholarship of 1 crore rupees. But however, it is for intermediate, so probably for next time for you guys. Okay, so let's start with our mock test paper discussion. You can easily find this on your ICAI site. Okay, let's do one thing. So I have always told you guys that whenever we need to do reading comprehension. So if we go to see, this is going to be our reading comprehension, question number 1 of question number, so this is actually question number 7 in mock test series. They write question number 1, but it is called as question number 7. Yeah, so that's your question number 1, which is reading comprehension. So whenever you are doing reading comprehension, my first work is to tell you to read the questions first rather than reading the paragraph first. So let's do one thing. Let's quickly read the paragraph. Let's quickly read the questions. What has been the latest expenditure trend in the last few years? Okay. So now we need to search for the words expenditure trend. How can higher school sector spending by the government boost sustainable economical growth? We need to look forward to words like higher social sector spending, boost sustainable economic growth. These are the words that we need to look forward to. What is true about rural markets? So that's when we come to rural market. Increased usage of ready-to-wear clothes, increased purchasing of luxury items such as refrigerator, electronic goods and two-wheelers. The rural FMCG market has been growing at around 30% per year over the past 5 years. Rural growth is possible only with sustained growth in rural economy and households, disposable income and all of the above. To answer this, we need to read the paragraph. So we will go to the paragraph. We'll remember these things like refrigerator, ready to wear, 13%, sustained growth in rural economy and household disposable items. We'll try and find it. What is or are the moot points of the recent India interaction and public speeches of Prime Minister and Finance Minister? Okay, when I speak of moot points means the points of discussion. Which of the following is not true according to the passage? Again, we'll have to read the passage for the same. Read the passage, make notes using headings, subheadings and abbreviations. Write summary for the following pointers. So forget summary for now. Let's concentrate on note making and reading comprehension. Let's see if we are able to find these words from the passages. Okay, so the first question speaks of what? The first question speaks of what has been the latest expenditure trend in last few years. Latest expenditure trend. Okay, let's see if we are able to find something related to expenditure trend. Okay, quickly skim through. I know reading passage is a little tricky. It's pretty long. So trend means they are not talking about percentages. They're talking about things on which it can be spent on. Can you look at the word trend? Increased spending on apparel and footwear, FMCG, consumer services and consumer durables. The spending pattern in rural areas too would depend on household income category. So if we go back and check, what has been the latest expenditure trend? So expenditure means spending. What has been an increased spending? It is on apparel and footwear. So if we go back, so that is in rural areas and in households income category. Let's see the answer if it matches. The trend has been towards an increased spending on apparels and footwear in rural households. Okay, so this matches. Let's see the next question. How can higher social sector spending by the government boost sustainable economic growth? Okay. To boost sustainable economic growth, we need to do what? Let's see if we can find these words. Sustainable growth. Okay, look at this. The social sector spent by the government through various schemes for health, education, rural housing, rural electrification, agriculture, and financial inclusion would reduce the rural household expenditure burden on social goods and services. So, by higher spend by government, it would reduce the rural household expenditure burden. Our question was what? How can higher social spending by government boost sustainable economic growth? So how can it boost? Because through that, we would reduce rural household expenditure burden on social goods and services. So let's look at the answer. Higher social sector spending by the government will boost sustainable economic growth by reducing the burden of social expenditure on rural populace. So populace means population. You can write population or populace. It does not matter. Let's see the next one. The next question was an MCQ based. What is true? Okay, let's see if these things were true. Are we able to find the words apparel? Oh, yes, we did. Footwear? Yes, we did. Ready to stitch? Yes, we did. Refrigerator? Yes, we did. So basically, ready to wear, refrigerator, sustained growth in rural economy of household disposable income. This also we did. Now, If you are able to find 13%, yes, 30%, then I think the correct answer for this is all of the above. What is or are true about rural markets? All of the above. Yay, see? Let's go to the next one. What are the moot points? Moot points means the points for discussion. So the word moot points comes from the word moot court. Moot means okay, yeah. So it is by the baby lawyers who are trying to learn. So they stand in moot courts, that are the courts which are created not for a real purpose but for educational purposes. So that is called as moot court, from which there is a word called as moot points. So what are the moot points of recent media interaction and public speeches of Prime Minister and Finance Minister? Let's have a look. So, Prime Minister and Finance Minister, the interaction and public speeches of Prime Minister and Finance Minister indicate a policy shift towards looking at increased spending on social schemes and targeted subsidies for the needy. Targeted subsidies for the needy. Okay, let's see if our answer matches. Are about increasing government spending on social schemes and targeted subsidies for the poor. See, we are absolutely correct. Okay, now let's see if our last answer matches. What is not true according to the passage? Several employment schemes have tremendously contributed in raising disposable income among rural households. This is true, right? So this is what the passage says. Look at this, look at this. There we go. Yes. The number of households has completed 100 days of employment. It shows the enormity of impact increased on one scheme that we can have. So there is more employment. More employment means disposable goods. The word disposable is also given here. The sustained growth in rural. Okay. Hi Shinchan, good morning. Just saw your message. Okay, let's continue and go to the next one. So, yeah. Our A point is correct. Let's go to the B one. Our social sector spent by the government would help reduce expenditure burden on social goods and services. Hey, this was one of the answers that we had. So this is absolutely correct, isn't it? See? Expenditure burden. This would reduce the rural household expenditure burden. So this was also the answer for the second one. Same. So this is a true statement. The increase in employment rate shows the enormity of impact that increased focus on one scheme alone can have. Oh, no, no, no. This answer does not make sense. Look at this. It shows the enormity of impact that increased focus on one scheme alone can have. So increase in employment rate, is it? Let's have a look again. The enormity answer is absolutely correct. This line is absolutely correct. Number of household, this fell by half in 2014-15 to 25 lakhs household. It has fell by half. So when it has fell by half, the employment has decreased. And here it talks about the increase in employment rate. So this one is our false statement, students. False statements. Okay, so they were asking us which are not true. Okay, the spending pattern of consumer expenditure would depend on household's income category. I think this you guys understand that a person can spend only that much that a household earns. So the household income category is the basis of the spending pattern. If you earn 100 rupees, you are not going to end up spending 100 rupees. You're going to end up spending 80 rupees and save 20 rupees, right? So this is the spending pattern. So this is a true statement. The incorrect one is option C. Okay, so I believe pretty much easy to understand. We could grasp this very easily. It was a very, very, very easy one. Okay, let's quickly jump to the next one. They're asking you to make notes using headings and subheadings and abbreviations wherever necessary. So you can use and make note making for this passage. All you have to do is you have to divide it. Give me a minute. Oh no, note making is for the below passage. This one, not for the above passage. Okay, it's been clearly written here. Read the passage given below and make notes using headings, subheadings, abbreviations wherever necessary. Now this passage you will have to read. You have to make notes also. You have to write summary also for the same. So let's start reading it. The test of the life are its plus factors. Overcoming illness and suffering is a plus factor. The test of the life are its plus factors. Overcoming illness and suffering is a plus factor, for it molds character. Steel is iron plus fire. Soil is rock plus heat. So let's include the plus factors in our lives. Sometimes the plus factors is more readily seen by simple-hearted. Maya tells the story of a mother who brought into her home as a comparison to her son a little boy who happened to have hunchback. She had warned her son to be careful not to refer to his disability. The boys were playing, and after a few minutes she overheard her son say to his companion, "Do you know that you have got on what you have got on your back?" The little boy was embarrassed, but before he could reply, his playmate continued, "It is a box in which your wings are, and someday God is going to cut it open, and then you will fly away and be an angel." Often it takes a third eye or a change in focus to see the plus factors. Walking along the corridors of a hospital recently where patients were heading with fear of pain and test, I was perturbed. What gave me a fresh perspective were the sayings put up anywhere intended to uplift. One saying made me conscious of beauty of the universe in the midst of pain, suffering and struggle. The other saying assured me that God was with me when I was in deep water, that no troubles would overwhelm me. Students, deep water means troubles. It's an idiom. Like moot point was an idiom, this is also an idiom. It means troubles. Okay, continuing. Next one is the import of these sayings also made me aware of the nether springs that flow into people's life when they touch rock bottom or are lonely or guilt-ridden. The nether springs make recovery possible, and they bring peace and patience in the midst of negative forces. The forces of death and destruction are not so much physical as they are psychic and psychological. When malice, hatred, and hard-hearted prevail, they get channeled as forces of destruction. Where openness, peace, and good-heartedness prevail, the forces of life gush forth to generate hope and joy. The life force is triumph. Triumph means victory. When love overcomes fear, both fear and love are deep mysteries, but the effect of love is to build, whereas fear tends to destroy. Love is generally the plus factor that helps build character. It creates bonds and it reaches infinite. It is true, there is no shortage of destructive elements, forces, and people who seek to destroy others in the process destroys themselves. But at the time, there are signs of love and life everywhere. There are constantly enabling us to overcome setbacks. Setbacks means backdrops. So let's not look at gloom and doom. Again, you learnt a new idiom, gloom and doom. Let us seek positivity and happiness, for it is when you seek that you will find what is waiting to be discovered. Okay, so now when I speak of something like this, it is a huge para. How do we tackle such a huge para? Let's see. First, let's try and understand how many points are there. I realized that there were 6 points. Tell me, did you guys also realize? It was clearly given. I had been very specific. When you are making note making or when you're doing précis writing, you have to follow the pointer system which is given. When you're doing summary, I don't want you to follow that kind of pointer system, because in summary writing, it is very easy for you to do what? To summarize the whole paragraph in 5 to 6 sentences. So it becomes very easy for you. What is important is being able to summarize these pointers in one lines. Honestly, if you look at it, there are so many examples given. Before I go to the title or the central idea, let's do it point wise, and then at the end, let's write the title. Let's try this. The test of life are its plus factors. Honestly, when I look at this, the test of life, that is the problems of life. So that only becomes my central idea, because that is what the whole passage is about. So let's see if we are able to figure this out. What is the first point? The first point talks about test of life, plus factors, overcoming illness and suffering is a plus factor, for it molds characters. Steel is iron plus fire, soil is rock plus heat. So let's include the plus factors in our lives. So when I talk about this, it is talking about what? Importance of test in our life. Why is this test important? Why are the problems important in our life? They are important because, one, it helps us in overcoming the illness and the suffering. And second, you can view at some disability positively. Okay, let's see if our answer matches. The importance of test of life, illness and suffering, build characteristics, view disability positively. See, so smartly they have written this plus sign rather than writing the full word. But if you write these short words, you will have to make a key, huh? And look at this key, characteristics, people, positively. You will have to make sure that you make this key. Okay. Now look at this. Sometimes plus factor is more readily seen by the simple-hearted. Now this Meyer until the end was an example. I always told you, when you're writing a précis writing, note writing or a summary, you need to avoid the example. So honestly, in the second point, there is only one line that is important to you. Sometimes the plus factor is more readily seen by the simple-hearted ones. So if I go to see, it is change of focus that is important. Now, change of focus is given in this point also, and it is given in this point also. So if you want, you can combine both the, where did it go? You can combine both the points, second and the third point, only if you want to do something like that. Give me a moment, students. Okay. Now, so when I talk about change of focus, the first thing is about talking in the hospitals. In the hospitals, there is more of, see, often it takes third eye or change in focus. So that's your heading for second and third point both. Look at this. Change in focus required. That is sayings in the hospital and of nether springs. Okay, so now what they have done is they have avoided the second point, but I would not ask you to do such a thing. You should always write the second point as something the plus factor is more readily seen in simple hearted. So you could just write a point saying that plus factors seen readily in simple hearted people instead of writing the whole example. Now let's see in the third point what all they have covered. Often it takes a third eye or change in focus to see the plus factor. What is the first point? Walking along the corridors of hospital recently where the patients were struggling with fear of pain and test, I was perturbed. Perturbed means disturbed. What gave me a fresh perspective were the sayings put up everywhere intended to uplift. One saying made me conscious of the beauty of the universe in the amid of the pain, struggles and suffering. The other saying assured me that God was with me when I was in deep water and that no troubles would overwhelm me. So when I speak of something like this, there is two discussion that is happening. First, patients were struggling with fear or pain. Second, there was a lot of fresh perspective and the sayings that were put up to uplift a person's spirits. So now let's see if we are doing it in the correct way. Sayings in the hospital: awaken one in universe amid the pain and presence of God. Okay. Now let's see the next point. The import of these sayings. Okay, so sayings, it is continuing. The import of these sayings also made me aware of nether springs that flow into people's life when they touch rock bottom or are lonely or guilt-ridden. The nether springs make recovery possible and they bring peace and patience in the amid of negative forces. So two things. One is the good saying and second is the nether springs. When I speak of nether springs, see, presence of nether springs. What does nether springs do? They flow into people's heart. They make recovery possible. They bring peace and patience. Three things. How do they flow into people's heart? They reach rock bottom and are guilt-ridden. The points are so easily divided for you. They are so easy. Look at this. Flow into people's life. They touch rock bottom, lonely or guilt-ridden. 1 point. Second, recovery possible, bring peace and patience. 3 points. First point having 2 more points. Now, let's see the next one. The forces of death and destruction are not so much physical as they are psychic and psychological. The next point should be forces of death and destruction. Look at this. The forces of death and destruction. Now, how are the forces of death and destruction? First, they are psychic and psychological. Okay. Now, next, after that, one, they are psychic and psychological. What can be the causes of this? The causes could be malice, hatred, hard-heartedness. All of this could be what? All of this could be the causes: malice, hatred, and hard-heartedness. This is forces of death and destruction. They are psychic and psychological. Every time you write short words, you'll have to remember to put it into the key. See? Okay. Now, going to the next one. Since there is forces of death and destruction, they have also discussed about the forces of love. Let's see if we are able to find that. Where openness, peace, and good-heartedness prevail. So now forces of life will include what? Openness, peace, good-heartedness. The forces of life gush forth to regenerate hope and joy. Very easy. Forces of life causes regenerate hope and joy. Okay, let's continue. Love is generally the plus factor. Oh no, I missed a line. The life force is triumph when love overcomes fear. Very important. Triumphs when love overcomes fear. So you can have life when you are not scared but you feel loved. Now, love, but both fear and joy are deep mysteries, but the effect of love is to build, whereas fear tends to destroy. Love is generally the plus factor that helps build character. It creates bond and its reach is infinite. So there you go. Love plus factor because it builds character, creates bond and has infinite reach. Okay, last point. Okay. Last point is, it is true there is no shortage of destructive elements. Okay, coming back. It is true there is no shortage of destructive elements, forces and people who seek to destroy others and in process of destroying themselves. But at the same time, there are signs of love and life everywhere that are constantly enabling us to overcome setbacks. Now, first, love and life does what? Two things. Love and life does two things. What are the two things that they are doing, love and life? They do two things. What are the two things? First, there are signs everywhere. There are signs. There are signs everywhere. And second, it helps to overcome setbacks. So, overcome setbacks. Look at this. Love and life, signs everywhere, helps to overcome setbacks. Look at the next one. Let us seek positivity and happiness. For it is when you seek that you will find what is waiting to be discovered. So, as a true seeker, what you should do? You should seek positivity, happiness. Do not look at doom and gloom. And what else? What else? What else? Seek positivity and happiness. For when you seek that, you will find what is waiting for you to be discovered. Okay, let's see if our points match. Okay, first, defeat. Okay, here are the words. DFT means defeat, DSTV means destructive, ELE means elements. So defeat destructive elements. Do not look at gloom and doom and seek positivity and happiness. What did you learn, students? If you read the passage and try to answer, it becomes very difficult and very time consuming. So I would always suggest, when you do the first read, like we did the first read, only read, start underlining. I showed you how much time it consumes for 3 marks to read and then underline and then read and then underline. Rather, if you are wasting a lot of time, leave the passage halfway. You will at least score 1.5 marks. Okay. Now, I think summary you guys can manage. Let's quickly go to the question answer. Now, among 2, 3, 4 and 5, you have to answer only 3 questions. So let's see the first question of each one of them. What is the difference between chain network and wheel spoke network? I don't really think you need me for chain network and wheel spoke network. It is a very easy task for you to manage. Okay. It's a very easy task for you to manage. When I speak of chain network and wheel spoke network, you'll easily be able to find the network in your ICAI material. Chain network is the chain of command network. Wheel spoke network is talking about those one person having controlling authority. Everyone will come and discuss with them only. That is called as wheel and spoke network. I think pretty much easy for you. You're not going to need me for the same. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Second. B. Choose the word which best expresses the meaning of the given word. Okay. So now, when I speak of the first word, it is calmer. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what does it mean. Give it a shot. Try it by yourself. I'll discuss. Okay. Now, this word means something roaring. I know you might not know this word. A confused or a roaring noise, which is very similar to tumult. Clamor and tumult are synonyms, are probably a mark that you might not know. It's okay. Breathe in, breathe out. Go to the next one. Select a suitable antonym for the word given in the question. Cobble. Give it a shot. Give a rare, wild shot. Okay. Do you guys know who is a cobbler? Cobbler is someone who manages the shoes, who basically mends the shoes. He is called as a cobbler. Ma'am, how does this connect with this? So when I speak of cobble also means to destroy something and then to again make it better. So that is why the most closest one is to destroy. It is given to you in the answers. Option D. Okay, let's go to the next one. I was watering the plants. Was watering the plants. Make it into passive voice. Subject. I is your subject. Was watering is your verb. The plants is your object. Object becomes subject. The plants. Now it is continuous and it is past. So the plants were being watered by me. The plants were being watered by me. It's a very easy one. He said, call me back later. Now, this is an imperative sentence. When I speak of imperative sentence, you remember in direct to indirect, you make imperative sentence into an infinitive. He asked me to call me back later. He told me or asked me to call him back later. See, so easy. Okay. Let's go to the next one, Pressy writing. So we have done one of the options of Pressy. I think you can manage this by yourself. It's a very nice one, easy one. Just remember one thing, while you do Pressy writing, you will have to make sure that you write the title also. However, in your answer sheet, they have not given you the title. But in Pressy, the title is compulsory. See, they have written also. And give appropriate title. However, I think they have not given you the title, but it is necessary for you to give the title, okay? And this much lines are more than enough for Pressy. Do not write too much. It is an easy 5-mark game. Okay, let's go to the next one. What do you understand by coherence? Oh my God, coherence, logical bridge. Logical bridge between what? Words, sentences and paragraphs. How can you forget this? This is one of the best ones. Logical bridge between words, sentences, paragraph. We have done so much of hard work on this content and I believe you will be easily be able to remember it. Take it. Now let's start with the next one. What does the word posit mean? Probably if you don't know, posit means hypnotize. Hypothesize. Hypothesize and posit means the same. Now, let's talk about the next one. It is talking about antonym, agior. Agior has an opposite which means contradicate. So when I say agior, it means to not contradictate, but contradictate means to give opposite view to a particular thing. Take it. Let's go to the passive ones. Everyone is going to love her. Everyone is going to love. Oh my God, students, do you see this? To love. Your verb is in infinitive form. This is that are going, is going to question. When I speak of are going to, is going to question, how do you deal with it? First, start with your object. She is going will remain is going. She is going. To will remain to. Your love will become loved. V3. But this will become to be loved by everyone. Change the following sentences to indirect speech. So the correct answer is she is going to be loved by everyone. She is going to be loved by everyone. Take it. Let's go to the next one. My mother said I had headache yesterday. I think this is very easy. My mother told me that she, now, had is your past, right? Now I need to write down past perfect. So for past perfect, you take help of had. Your main verb is had. So it will become had a headache yesterday. There will be two hads here. One is for past perfect and one is your main verb. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is, you have approached Casey, write a letter of fee proposal. So this is like giving an order or, this is like giving a quotation, fee proposal. We have done these kind of letters. If you realize this is asked only for 2 marks. My God. So you'll have to write it in as crisp manner as possible. Do not forget the formats of the letter. Okay. Students, there was supposed to be probably one more question that they should have given you here. This is an incomplete question, but I think that's okay for you to understand. Yeah, either one more question or making this a 5-mark thing. Otherwise, this will not be a 10-mark question. Okay. Non-verbal communication and its type. My God, do they really need to ask you questions like this? This was so easy. Physical non-verbal communication, body language, paralanguage, aesthetics, appearance, symbols. Hey, you remember those 55%, then 7% of your total communication, 7, 36 and 55%. See, it's so easy. Very, very easy to go. Okay, next. Select the suitable antonym for the given word. Transient. Transient. Antonym. Transient means something which is easy. Immanent means something which is opposite of the same. So the correct answer is immanent. Okay, assuming you again don't know this, don't fret. Even if you don't know vocab, you're still good to go. You will still be able to score easy marks. Someone has made a mistake. A mistake has been made by someone. Do not forget that has been made by someone. The mistake has been made. So they have kept by someone silent. Do not keep it silent. Write down by someone because they have given you someone. Ria said, I am seeing my brother tomorrow. Ria said, I am seeing my brother tomorrow. Now, let's see if you are able to classify this. Ria said that she was. Now, I am seeing my brother. She was seeing her brother the next day or the following day. She was seeing her brother the next or the following day. I think this was pretty easy, a very easy task. You could figure that out by yourself. Let's go to the next one. Article of 250 to 300 words on impact of working from home on careers. This is one of the finest. What a beautiful topic, working from home. So when I speak of work from home, what is the impact that has happened? People have slowed down. People have been more productive. They have been more social. They are struggling with isolation. So they have given you a good, nice level of points. You can go through these points and figure this out by yourself. Nothing very difficult. Okay. Next, you can either write an article on working from home or a report on school reopen after 1.5 years, back to school. So either one of them can be yours. They have given you good points. It is easy. Okay, the next one that we have is cultural barriers. Honestly, students, cultural barrier was also asked in the last exam. I doubt this can be asked to you again, but still, it's always good to go prepared. Okay, so there you are. Cultural barriers. Cultural aspects of communication refers to having knowledge of different cultures in order to communicate effectively with cross-culture people. So I think this is easy. Let's go back. The chairman of the corporation plays a second fiddle. So if you remember, this was also there for your second question. The past paper, the December paper also had this one, plays a second fiddle. So now what does the word second fiddle mean? The word second fiddle means to play a secondary role. Now, in order to become successful administrator in the office, an executive has to keep his ears to the ground. Now, when I speak of ears to the ground, it means you have to be informed about everything happening in your surrounding. Okay, next. Change the following sentence into direct speech. My sister is being helped by her. Change the following sentence into direct speech. I think this is a mistake. You have to change it into passive voice. The question should be passive voice. So my sister is being helped by her. She is helping my sister. She is helping my sister. Active passive. Take it. Now, productivity in work from home model. Again, a similar question. Please be ready for something on work from home. Go prepared. They are planning to ask you something related to this. Then you have to make a resume, which is very easy, and I think we have figured that out last time only. There you go. Okay, and that marks the end. I think you guys are pretty much convinced this was a good one, a very easy one. If you go to see, you will never find a paper which is as easy. The vocab was tougher, but your vocab in your actual papers is not always so tough. It is only tough for one question, which you can leave an option if your question number 1 and question number 2 are easy to go. That is your first question of the chapter and the grammar. If they are easy to go, it will be a easy task. Okay, so I end the session here. I'll try and post the links of these papers on YouTube channel. If I can't, you can still download it on your BOS portal, ICAI. This is series 1 mock test paper. I hope it makes a difference. Start working hard. All the best, students, for your